Have you heard? Teddy wasn't just a legend in WW2, he was a soldier who entered a concentration camp, saw bodies everywhere, and gave the bad guys a permanent vacation. Those chilling scenes still give me chills. Teddy even saved a suicidal officer by kicking his gun away and just watched him slowly fade out in agony. Teddy was utterly sick of killing, while Chuck found the soldier increasingly mysterious. If he wasn't here for revenge, then what was he doing? Seeing Chuck puzzled, Teddy excitedly said, "It looks like a mental hospital but hides big secrets. Like a detective novel. They're secretly conducting human experiments here at Living Hell." He remembered George, a college student who became a lab rat for cash. After returning, George went crazy for killing, nearly beating his teacher to death, and ended up locked up in the most dangerous C-zone. After a year of torture, George was released, but ended up stabbing 3 people in a bar. The funniest part, he actively asked the judge to send. He didn't want to return to the island, and death seemed like a good option, but the judge was like, "This guy clearly has serious mental issues." So, tossed into another prison, George was a total wreck when Teddy found him. George told Teddy clearly, "The doctors here are using prisoners to conduct horrifying experiments. It's a riot." Teddy was here to gather evidence and take down this place since he had seen way too much killing as a veteran. Why did he join the war? To stop mutual killing, but here they conduct disguised massacres. He vowed to put an end to all this turmoil, yet Chuck felt deeply deceived, sparking in seemingly endless debate between them, and at that very moment, the island's prison guards became aware of them. They were taken back, and then Teddy learned there were only 66 patients on the island, and he was feeling a mix of emotion. Teddy angrily questioned Dr. Corey, "Who's the 67th patient that Rachel mentioned?" To which Dr. Corey replied, "Like a ghost." Upon hearing that, Teddy was instantly shocked. The Rachel in his mind miraculously returned 2 days later. But Rachel, seeing Teddy, mistook him for her husband, complaining he didn't care and drank too much. What a laughable mess. Rachel then said her husband had already passed and gasped, "Who on earth are you?" Seeing this, Teddy felt like his head was about to explode. Teddy quickly put some pills to rest, and in a daze, it felt like he was back in the concentration camp, seeing bodies everywhere again. Turning around, he saw a female corpse morph into Rachel's likeness, and a little girl beside her suddenly opened her eyes, asking him, "Why didn't you?" Next, Teddy found himself in a room where Rachel stood, blood-soaked, with 3 children shed cold on the floor. Teddy was stunned. The little girl kept asking, "Why no rescue?" But Teddy plunged her into the lake. What plot twist? The little girl suddenly woke up, and Teddy saw his wife's figure again, saying the same thing as before, "You must find Letty and kill her." Teddy woke up again, realizing he was dreaming within a dream, chaos everywhere. Stepping out, he found a storm caused a huge power outage on the island. Chuck suggested sneaking into C-Zone. On arrival, Teddy was attacked but fought back successfully. As Teddy prepared to strike, Chuck stopped him in time, but the prisoner was seriously hurt. So Chuck took the prisoner to the infirmary, while Teddy pressed on to search for clues, only to be completely shocked by what he saw. Teddy wondered, why was George still locked up here? His mind was filled with questions. Moreover, she bluntly stated that this mess was actually caused by Teddy himself, and the reason was the boom and effect. This is definitely not a laughing matter. Teddy wondered why George was still here. It was all a trap for Teddy's pursuit. Chuck, whether intentionally or not, had pointed out a problem. However, just as Teddy was intending to press for further details, George unexpectedly burst into tears, revealing that there have been 2 distinct theories about patient treatment on this island. One method is long-term medication, while the other is a horrifying and cruel surgery removing the prefrontal cortex. This surgery turns people into memory-less adults, controlled by others terrifying. All island patients face the same issue. At that moment, Chuck, who had left, changed his mind and told Teddy Dr. Corey was coming, having learned of the assaulted prisoner. So they had to leave immediately, and Chuck decisively led Teddy to hide in an uninhabited area, where he found Letty's admission record, but mysteriously, there were no corpse reports or photos. Chuck wanted to show Teddy who said later. Such an important clue, Teddy had been frantic to find, but after finding it, he seemed less interested. What secret was hidden behind that? Then Teddy began to climb toward the lighthouse, believing he could find the truth there, but Chuck urged him to turn back. They proved the 67th patient's existence on the island. Confronting Dr. Corey would be wiser. But climbing to the lighthouse recklessly would be looking for trouble, and Chuck couldn't understand why Teddy insisted on it. Their argument escalated again. Teddy refused to heed Chuck's advice, only wanting to know the truth of what happened on the island. Soon, an accident happened. Teddy, unable to reach the lighthouse, returned for Chuck, only to find him vanished. Teddy stared in shock at the cliff, finding Chuck's body. Then stranger things happened. After Teddy climbed down the cliff, he found Chuck's body had inexplicably vanished again. Unbelievable. Teddy looked around, spotted Cave Light, thinking it was Chuck, but found Rachel inside. Rachel was a professional psychiatrist, not a patient. She never killed children. She didn't have any. Imprisoned, she found island doctors perform terrifying prefrontal cortex removal on patients. They used brutal methods to brainwash patients, turning them into emotionless killing machines. Nobody who came here could ever escape. After Rachel's account, Teddy was bewildered, not knowing who to trust, as his chance to find the truth slipped away. If you enjoyed this fantastic story, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting content.